Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster, and we are here for part 3 of What If Deku Was a Blue Lantern. Now then, if you haven't watched the 2 previous parts, I do recommend that you do go back and stop here to watch the other 2 vids. And if you see anything else on my channel you might like, check it out if you want. With that all being said, this is a what if picked through the What If Lotto, and I do hope that you will enjoy. So with all that said, before we start, hit it. Now then, a week before the UA entrance exam, Izuku was getting used to using the Blue Lantern ring, as well as One for All, in combination, as he was taught that to a certain extent he could actually make light constructs without transforming into his suit. As he's gotten used to this, even working on hand-to-hand combat and using more or less simple light construct weapons. As the training is going well, while he is on the home world of the Blue Lantern Corps, getting every last bit of training done before the weekend ends, and he goes home to rest and study up for the written portion of the exam. During this, a certain small blue individual floats down to him as he's training, stating, "It looks as though you've been practicing in top form, young man." Seeing the guardian that first started the Blue Lanterns, and one who was a bit more kind than what he's been told in comparison to the rest of the Guardians. His name? Ganthet. As Izuku looks at him saying, "Ganthet, yeah, the UA test is actually coming up in about a week, so getting some last minute combat prep for the hero course exam." As he sits down and states, "You know, it's interesting. Humanity evolved in such a way. The powers you have on Earth are so varied. Normally an entire species evolves in a similar way, in the fact that if they do gain abilities, they all gain the same abilities. It's quite random on Earth, isn't it, in comparison?" With Izuku stopping for a moment, stating, "Yeah, pretty much. There's ways people quirk will fuse when it's passed down to their kids, mutations that happen resulting in the quirk that never existed before. It's a lot." As Ganthed just laughs, stating, "It makes your home world at least interesting and far from boring, I suppose." With Izuku laughing, asking, "Is there something you needed?" Ganthed just smirked, stating, "Not really. I just thought I'd come by and wish you good luck. With how diligently you've been practicing, learning the more spiritual side of the Blue Lanterns from Saint Walker, as well as learning combat from Kilowog and Razor. And you did very well on your first mission. You are proving to be a fine Blue Lantern." As Izuku smirks, thanking him. as Gan said, leaves, waving, saying, "Good luck, I'm sure you'll get in," as he just smirks, powering up and flying home. However, on the Violet Lantern's home planet, Toga is doing the same, knowing that the full suit transformation might be a bit much to show off. And she doesn't know if UA knows anything about the Lantern course, so she wants to play it safe. As she's training with her new sisters and finding that creating light construct throwing knives and more whip-like weapons are more her speed, and even going as far to short swords and fencing, though still tries to do other things to broaden her abilities. As she is doing quite well, Rhea congratulates her on improving so much during these past 10 months. As she offers Toga a meal since it is about lunchtime. Sitting down, Toga thanks Rhea for inviting her into the Corps and for giving her an actual home. Looking down, also stating, "And thank you for doing so much more for me than, well, even my parents." With Rhea putting her hand on Toga's shoulder, she states, "You don't need to thank us for what we would do for any of our sisters." As Toga smirks and eats up, as she then spends the rest of her day studying as well as the rest of the week preparing. Upon the day of the entrance exam, Izuku went off to go as Toga, powered down and wearing normal clothes, hops through a portal that the Violet Lanterns use quite frequently for multiple things to send Toga back to Earth in order for her to take the exam. As they end up at UA, Izuku is looking up and smirking, as he is somewhat rubbing the blue lantern ring on his finger. A bit nervous, but also extremely excited. Being bumped by Bakugo, who says, "Move it, nerd." And whatever you kind of quirk you ended up with, I'm gonna show you that it's nothing. Obviously, Bakugo is still somewhat infuriated that he got saved by Izuku, who awakened a quote-unquote quirk during that sludge villain incident. As Izuku continues walking, Toga walks up the steps and notices a messy green head of hair. Being surprised that she was correct, that she was going to apply to the correct school where she was figuring he would be, though thinking that maybe I should wait till later. We both should focus on the test. If I don't get in, then all that training will be for nothing. Can't let Rhea and the others down. Breathing in, calming herself as she goes in. The written exam does go as usual, as the practical exam is given details about, as Izuku, instead of muttering this time, is somewhat meditating, focusing as much as possible in order to mentally prepare himself for this as he listens to the instructions. As Ida pipes up asking about the 0-pointer and how it's not listed. As we just have President Mike stating that's a fair question, but I was about to explain that. Essentially, the zero pointer is more of an obstacle than an actual way of getting points, so you can avoid it entirely. With that being said, good luck to all of you in your battlefields. As everyone was getting dressed, the teachers of UA were sitting down in the monitor room. As a precaution and also to help them understand a certain applicant who was applying, they were also filled in on the secret of the Lantern Cores. As well, since they do also know about All Might's form, Small Might. So, letting out the Lantern Core secret to them was necessary. As Aizawa leaned back thinking, so, you got some kid with some weird power ring fueled by hope from the entire universe? That seems kind of out there, but if it's anything like that, like how power, then maybe. Still, kind of puts things in an odd kind of perspective, knowing that there's that many life forms out in the universe, as well as those lantern cores that are fueled by all of the emotions of those life forms. As he's somewhat zoning out into, like, well, about the same kind of zoning out that I would imagine anybody would go through when they find out that the universe is way bigger and way more populated than they could have ever thought. As the testing area was all set up and everybody was dressed to get going, Izuku was stretching out, seeing how a number of people were actually using support items to help with their quirks. As Ida, who was getting warmed up, saw the ring on Izuku's finger, walking over asking, "Excuse me, you do know that it may not be practical to wear jewelry, correct?" As he looks at his hand where Ida's pointing, he stands up stating, "Oh, no, this is just to focus my quirk, kind of like a conduit." As Ida remarks, "I see. Very well then. Apologies." As he goes back to warming up. This being when President Mike just states, "And go!" as the doors open. Though surprising is everyone, Izuku hurries up and charges his power as he leaps right in, with Toga in her battlefield heading in right away and Bakugo in his. Bakugo's exam goes pretty much the same as in canon. As for Izuku, without transforming, he makes 2 light constructs in each hand while powering up one for all in the 10% he can use, creating a double-sided battle axe for slashing and a hammer for bashing, taking out robots after robots while also kicking them, racking up quite a number of points. As for Toga, she created her Violet Lantern light constructs without transforming and began tossing them around, throwing the light construct knives, stabbing into the robots, destroying them, and using the whip to pierce, like full-on stab into them or wrap around them to crush them, and sometimes going as far as to grab one robot with it and slam it into another one. This surprising All Might, as well as the other faculty members, they were only told about the Lantern Corps recently, and they were only told that they were going to be dealing with one Lantern Corps student. They didn't inspect another one, as Midnight was interested in this. She states, wait, I thought we were only getting one. You said blue, right? And that should be that green-haired kid, who's doing remarkably well. But this girl, her agility is incredible. And she's precise with those small constructs, just stabbing into the robots, destroying them. The robots can't even lay a hand on her, as they just see two robots swinging at Toga, and she full on uses her agility to dodge in between their strikes, taking them both out with with the throwing knives into their optical camera in their heads. As this is surprising, Aizawa looks at All Might, who seems to not really be freaking out the same as everyone else, deciding to walk over and asking him, you know a little bit more about this? All Might said, I didn't know there was anyone else taking the test with the same kind of powering, but it is a different core from what I understand. As Aizawa asks the obvious question. Okay, so that how guys' ring is powered by will, this green-haired kid is powered by hope. What's the pink-like constructs going on with that? As All Might states, they're actually called the Violet Lantern Corps, and, well, they tend to be a female-only corps, powered by literally the love permeating through the universe. With, as I was stating, really? With, well, just All Might stating, yep. And luckily, they're a good core from what I've heard. Though I've also heard they had a bit of a rocky past, from what Hal told me. With, as I was stating, is she gonna be a problem? All Might thinking, stating, no, I don't think so. If she's taking the hero exam, then I think she's going to be okay. As this goes on, Bakugo, Izuku, and also Toga rack up quite a number of points. As Izuku was thinking about where he could find some more robots, the ground started shaking as everyone started to run away. Similar things happening in the other battlefields as well, as Nezu has released the Zero Pointer, revealing a large robot. With the confusion, Bakugo takes his advantage, destroying the point robots that are much smaller, as everyone is running away, with the point robots more or less moving along with the Zero Pointer. As for Izuku, he was wondering what he should do about this. Though before anything, he hears a girl screaming in pain, as he sees a girl just trapped under some rubble with her ankle covered up by a big slab of concrete. Instinctively, he runs over, as he thinks he has to take out the brain of the robot to stop it. And he's not sure if he's practiced One for All enough to really get it going, for him to bounce off of the walls at this current point in time. So, he decides to fully transform and makes a bright enough blue light to blind the cameras and such, going directly for it, charging up One for All. That is as he charges up a large amount of blue energy. Covering his fist, he punches the robot, sending it back a bit as energy then blasts through the robot's head, sending it back exploding. As he lands safely, he de-transforms and goes to check on the girl, creating a construct from his ring to get the rubble off of her and create a gurney kind of construct to get her off the ground and leave while the robot is still in the midst of exploding. As for Toga, she sees this and sees it as a good opportunity to try something with a little bit more oomph to it. Since she doesn't really, well, she won't be able to use it on humans, she can at least use it here on this robot. Running up to its base, she reels her fist back with the ring on it, quickly transforms and slams it into the base of it. As a bright violet light shines, we just see violet spikes just burst out of the entire body of the robot all over, causing it to explode. As the explosion is pretty large, though luckily, the energy barrier around Toga protects her as she powers down, with the people in her battle area thinking that that's incredible, as she just smirks. With that, the test is over as Recovery Girl goes around healing up everybody and Uraraka is taken away. As Izuku sighs in relief, feeling that he did pretty good, and Toga feeling great for going so far in the exam like that. As announcement is made in Toga's battle area, calling her to Principal Nezu's office. Wondering what this is about, she goes off, waiting at the door, while Izuku is allowed to go home to wait for his confirmation. As for Toga, waiting in the office, she wonders if she did something wrong. As she is asked to come into the office, she just sees Principal Nezu, Aizawa, Midnight, and Small Might, who is sitting in in the principal's office couch, just there to listen. As he asks, is something wrong? As Nezu stated, oh, it's nothing much. It's just that we'd like some questions answered. For one, well, a bit of a smaller detail, but we see you don't actually have a home address written down in your papers. As she flinches at this, stating, yeah, some stuff happened with my family, and as Nezu states, it's okay. If you're worried about revealing something, then you should already, well, or like we should inform you that we already know that you're a member of a Lantern Corps. Surprised, Toga looks at them, as Midnight just smirks and goes up to Toga, grabbing her hand, asking, that outfit was amazing. I only saw it for a split second, but I reeled back the footage and got a picture of it. It's actually quite lovely. And I also got informed that your core is powered by love. Oh, that just sounds wonderful. An all-female core too? With Toga feeling, wait, what? You know? As Nezu states, yes. As a matter of fact, we were only expecting one Lantern Corps student to apply. Her flinching at this, realizing that it was Izuku, asking, really? I had no idea. I thought I had to keep quiet about it. But as I was stating, well, normally yes, but when you're at school, we would like you to stay quiet about it. Honestly, it was hard for me to wrap my head around to begin with. But after seeing two individuals, three if we count Hal, then can't really deny the facts. Though this does bring up a unique situation. As Nezu states, yes, due to this, we feel that it is unfair to the other applicants to bump one student out of a hero course due to multiple Lantern Corps members applying. So, we would like to enlist both of you as a single slot, per se. And, well, due to certain circumstances that we aren't going to get into right now, you'll both be put into Class 1A. This will result in Class 1A having 20. Sorry. This will result in having Class 1A having about 21 students, an odd number, but I believe this is the fairest point. However, we still need to know about your current living conditions so that we can know where to send any information in regards to your school life so that we can send it to your home. As Olga tenses up, stating, if you know about the Lantern Corps, then I guess I could tell you. As he explained that her parents were, well, her father at least, was in politics. And as he explained her quirks and how her parents saw her as some kind of monster or someone who was destined to be a villain. She was in a dark place after her parents kicked her out for being odd. And she met someone who helped her, gave her a glimmer of hope that no one else ever bothered to do for her. And after that, before she did anything crazy, was invited to the Violet Lantern Corps. And they've been for my sisters for the last 10 months, doing more for me in those 10 months than my parents have done for my entire life. They actually care about my well-being. They help me out a lot. So I'm actually currently living on their planet. They have a method for creating, well, I guess in quirk terms, it'd be like a machine-produced warp portal kind of situation. As Nezu states, I see that would make it somewhat complicated to contact your guardian. And if your parents did do such a thing, I doubt sending that information to them would be desirable to you. Yes, I understand your situation. Though, is there anyone we could directly write a letter to in case we need you to deliver it to them? Someone that you may see as a guardian? He states there is one. She's kind of my mentor in the Lantern Corps. Her name is Rhea. As she smirks, with Midnight just hugging her, stating, "Oh, you poor thing. You've been through some rough times, but now you're on such a fine path." With Toga being very confused about Midnight right now, because she is very, very affectionate when it comes to emotional states, and not to mention some situations, as we've seen in canon and such. As Aizawa states, Midnight, you mind giving the girls some room to breathe, with Midnight snapping out of it, saying, "Oh, sorry." As Nezu states, "Yes, okay. I'll put down Rhea as your, well, official guardian in our paperwork. I believe that should do. Due to these circumstances, we'll have you put into Class 1A, which, due to the young man's score, who has the Blue Lantern ring, is also going into that class. And just to let you know, Mr. Aizawa here is going to be your homeroom teacher. Also, we will keep quiet about your unique background and living conditions, since I believe you would like to keep it that way unless you believe you can trust your classmates with this information. Though, it is completely up to you." As Toga thanks them, as he goes off and calls for a portal home. After getting there, she sighs in relief that that meeting went well and how nerve-wracking it was. As Izuku is at home waiting for the envelope, wondering if he got enough points to get into the hero course, and if he'll get into a good class. He's confident that he got in, but he's been taught to never assume something until all the facts are in. As Toga gets home, Rhea sees that she looks exhausted, asking what's wrong. Toga explained the situation with the meeting and that apparently UA faculty knows about the Lantern Corps and were only expecting one Lantern Corps member applying to UA. With Rhea remembering, "Oh, you mean the Blue Lantern boy, correct? Izuku, yes?" As he smirks, stating, "Yeah, that's him. He got in too, from what I'm told. Though, due to the whole Lantern Corps thing, and, well, they didn't tell me everything about their reasoning, but we're going to be in the same class, but we're going to be treated as a single applicant to be fair to everyone else, since it wouldn't really be that fair, since I mostly used my lantern, the lantern power to take down those robots." As Rhea states, "Oh, I see. I wasn't expecting that. I suppose that it would help transition." As Toga explains the rest in regards to anything about her getting a letter from UA, Rhea just smirks, stating, "Well, I'm happy that you think of me as a guardian. It makes me happy." As she sighs, remarking that she needs to go to bed. The next day, Izuku is flying around blowing off some steam. As Toga, knowing that she's getting into Class 1A along with Izuku, thinks that it's time. Asking about the power to more or less go or bring the ones he cares about a lot together and such. As Rhea did know that she would eventually ask about this, she was prepared, stating that she merely has to think about the one you love with all you have, and a gateway will be opened. either he can pass through and come here, or you can pass through and go to him. As Toga remarks, I think I'm gonna go to him. It might be a little embarrassing otherwise. As Freya just laughs, stating, very well, it's your choice. Good luck. As Toga flies up to the roof, focusing. As he's focusing, thinking about Izuku, the portal opens as he smirks. Izuku sees a violet portal opening in the form of a star pattern. As he's wondering what's going on, as Toga takes a deep breath in and jumps through. Izuku, seeing her in her Violet Lantern outfit, blushes a bit, and then recognizes that it's the girl he helped out 10 months ago. As he just smirks, flying towards him, saying, Izuku! Hugging him. As he's flipping out, saying, what's going on? Wait, you're a Violet Lantern? With Toga smirking, saying, it's a long story. As Izuku's like, what? As they go over to an asteroid belt to sit down. Since they're in the vacuum of space, they do have some privacy to talk without interruption. As she states, thank you. Thank you for helping me out when I was in a bad place. You really do live up to your core, reputation, I suppose. As Izuku is blushing, stating, thanks, but how did you, as he knows about a good number of the abilities of the other Lantern Corps, including the Violet Lanterns, he is mentally freaking and thinking, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? As Toga grabs his hand, stating again, thank you. I might have done something pretty crazy and probably wouldn't have been able to go back if you didn't we didn't cross paths that day. And you gave me the kind of hope that no one else gave me in my whole life. You gave me encouragement, and as Izuku thinks, I think I know where this is going. I do know what the Violet Lanterns are capable of. I was taught about them. As Toga blushes, stating, so would you like to go out? Toga blushing like crazy. With Izuku being nervous, he states that would be nice. But as Toga remarks, oh, I also did take the UA Entrix exam, and I did pass. I was told that due to the circumstances of us both being in Lantern Corps, will be counted as a single passed applicant to be fair to the other applicants that applied for the Hero course. As Izuku thinks that would actually be pretty fair, considering that a lantern power ring does give a big advantage, and 2, being in the exam, it would end up taking away a slot to someone who could really do some good with it. As he takes a breath in, stating, okay, so I guess as Toga blushes a bit, smiling, she hugs him, stating, yes! With Izuku blushing like crazy, freaking, stating, yeah. With Toga remarking, you are a bit of a nervous one, aren't you? It's cute. as Deku is thinking cute, as he calms down a bit, asking, "So what now?" He begins to fly, stating, "Want to go on a little trip and take a look at what's out there?" As Zuko smirks a little bit nervously, scratching the back of his head, stating, "That sounds nice." As they fly off, seeing all kinds of nebulas, stars, worlds, and such that look amazing. With Izuku realizing, wait, this is a date, isn't it? Oh my, I passed the UA entrance exam to get into the hero course. I have a girlfriend and we're on our first date already? How is this happening so fast? As he just sees Toga smiling, he calms down, thinking, I don't need to overthink it. As they do just have their own fun. With this, we'll end it on this part. And I do hope that you will, well, that you have enjoyed this What If. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Set it to all so that you're properly updated for any new vids. And hope to see you guys next time. See you later.